Flosstube, it's Lissa, and today is Monday, February 25th, and I need to make this super quick. I needed to make this super quick 10 minutes ago when I started filming, but was not actually filming, so now I have to make it really quick. So let's see how fast I can do this. So I'm going to start really quick with haul. I'm not going to show you all of them. Don't worry, I didn't show you all of them in the lost footage either. But these are the Notions pouches that I ordered from June at June/McFly Stitches. I showed you them before, back when I asked her to kind of design something like this, but I want to put it in my whips to hold all my Flossway bags. So now that I have all these pretty bags, maybe I'll finally get around to fixing all my whips, because most of them are missing some floss. So I need to cut some new lengths and maybe organize them in there, and that'll be really exciting. So maybe that'll inspire me to do it. I really need the School of Magical Stitches and Literature to come up with a homework that is organizing your stash. Like, show some part of your stash that is not organized, and then take another picture when it is organized. Like, maybe you've got a bunch of stuff to bobbinate, which I do. Like, all over the desk is floss that needs bobbinated. Or I need to, like, fix your kits, or reorganize your stash. I don't know, whatever. Do something, some kind of organization. I'm sure everybody can do something, and that would really help me out. Alright, so on to the whips. This is my first one. This is where I left off the last time I saw you. And this is Candy Train by Ursula Michael. And this was for extra credit, so I had to do 500 stitches. And I'd already started the 500 when I showed you last week. But here's where I'm at. And this was for the prompt, something that's howling for attention, because I started it in Mania last year, and then I didn't touch it until I pulled it out for this prompt. And I wanted to do it over Christmas, but then like my Christmas stitching just got away from me, and I didn't end up getting to work on it. So next up was 12 Days. And this is the one that I'm doing a stitch along with Amy Gable Stitcher, which I think I say every single week. And we do one block per month, and I'm going like down, and so this was my block. And so I did this one. I had to do 200 stitches on it for something. I don't know. It was something for the homework this week. I did 200 stitches, but I wanted to catch up my block, and I needed more than 200 stitches to catch it up. So Friday night, we watched Harry Potter, which was an extra credit prompt, and you stitch while you watch, and there's no stitch count required, and you can stitch on anything. So I stitched this all the way up until I had about 200 stitches left, and then I saved that for Saturday, and I put those in for the homework. So, spoiler alert, the block is complete! Yay! And I'm sure you'll be very excited to see that this little girl finally has an arm! I went out this weekend and got that floss that I needed to put her arm in. So I am totally, fully caught up. And for March, I'll go back up to the top, and I'll do block 3, I guess. And Amy was just saying she just finished block 4, and she said it took her forever. Like, it was the longest one that she did so far, so that's not exciting. It's all those little birds in the cage, and so there's like a million colors, so you're just switching thread constantly. I think that's what made it take so long. Alright, so next up was Stabby by McFly Stitches, and she charted it in blue, but I'm converting it to green. And this was for the prompt, stitch on something that has a weapon, and there's those little knives across the top, and this is where I am. And I already told this story in the lost footage, but I'm super annoyed with this piece. So, I had the border completely done, and so I put in the words to get my 200 stitches for the weapons. So, I just like went in order. I get down here to that eye, and I realized that this row was one too high, so I ripped it all back, went down a row, started putting it back in. I get back over here, and I realized that I'm the right height, but like somehow this way I got off. Well, it wasn't this line, it's this line, this H, and all the way over is one stitch too far to the right. Like I should have left one stitch between the T and the H, and I left two. So I wasn't gonna rip all that out. I had more stitches to do, so I just kept going. I circled it on my pattern and like noted what I did so that I don't try to count off of those the next time I pick it up. And I don't know. I'm gonna put the whole thing in and I'm gonna see if I can tell that it's off. I couldn't tell, obviously, like it looked fine to me until I realized when I was trying to count. So maybe like once it's all said and done, I won't even be able to tell. But now that I do know, it's all I can see. And I'm such a perfectionist, I'm not good at fudging, so I don't know. I might have to take it out, but I'll save that for the end. And then the thing that'll be working in my favor is that it'll be done, and it's like, do I really want to rip it all out and start over on that line? You know, so that might really help motivate me to not rip it out. So next I worked on Little Mermaid by Donut Stitch. And this was for the prompt, stitch something that that caused the students to be petrified and not killed. And so one of the things that did that was a puddle of water, and they're floating in the ocean. There's tons of water. So that's how far I got. And I think that last time, like before I started, I think I was here. So I think I started at the row that goes all the way across and did all of that down. I'm really liking these donut stitches. When I started them last year, it was kind of because like the patterns were relatively cheap, the fabric was like, you know, plain white fabric, easy to find, it's all in DMC, so it was just like, it was almost like fluff to fill up my mania. I did like them all, I did want to eventually do them all, but if I wasn't trying to fill my mania, I probably would have just done one at a time, like picked my favorite, and then when I finished that, start the next one. But, you know, I wanted to be manic, so I did them all, and I'm actually really glad because I'm really enjoying them. So next up is Death by Cross Stitch. Sorry for the glare. I'm in a hurry. Not gonna take it out of the plastic. And I think everybody in the world knows what this looks like anyway. And here I am at. So I did, oops. I did this. I had it started, but I finished this, this stripe right there. And so now my issue is that the next motif that I do, whichever one it's going to be, is split across pages. Like I can either split with page 1 and the page below it, or I can go 1 and 2, but I have to like, I don't like to split a motif like with a page break. Like, I don't know if you're able to see this, but like see these flowers right here. So they're split with the page, I think both ways, actually. And I don't want to like do half a flower and leave a page break. So I'm going to want to look at the other page so that I can stitch the whole flower. I know that's not that big of a deal. Like I could just make a working copy. I've done that before. Of like paste the pages together so I can see the whole motif and make a copy of that. But I'm just feeling lazy. I just want it to be easier than that. So next up was my Nutcracker Trio, and I'm working on King Candy Cane. And this was for an extra credit prompt, and the prompt was, oh, something that makes you moan and cry because I don't like the fabric. Working on it, like putting in this many stitches, I don't hate it as much as I used to. But I still don't love it. So here's where I am, which is like, this is really good progress. I mean, I'm really happy with it. I had fun. This like hole is where his belt goes. So I had from the belt like halfway down. So I did all of that, all of this, and then all of these darker pieces on the side. So yeah, he is looking good. And then the last thing that I worked on, there was one more extra credit piece, and it was something sluggish, so like something that takes you a while. And so I originally said in my plans, I think I said that I was going to do Epic Harry Potter, which is going to take me a while. but I was a little burnt out. I just wasn't feeling that by the time I got around to stitching this. So I decided to do Rainbow Dash, who's one of my ponies. And this works twofold because first of all, Rainbow Dash is my third oldest whip. So she's been hanging around for a while already. I'm only like not even 30% done with her. And she's part of a set of 6. So if you count the whole set, like super sluggish. So it's gonna be really hard to see what I did. But it's fine. Because I did white on white. I filled in, oh, can you see it? Kind of. All of this white around her eyeball. That was like 250 stitches, and then I did some blue over here for the other 250 stitches. And to give you an idea, I mentioned before that these ponies are way more confetti heavy than they look. To give you an idea, her eyeball, it takes white and B5200. So I already had the white in, and then I went and I added the B5200 this weekend. So yeah, it's a little overwhelming. And since Rainbow Dash is one of my largest and oldest pieces, she gets one of my only fancy project bags. I think I have a bunch, but I actually, well, I have, let's see, like 5, including this one, but I actually only have active whips in 3 of them, and then the other 2 I'm not even sure what's in them. I think I kitted them up at one point and like either UFO'd the start or yeah, I don't know. I should go look, right? But here it is. I made this with Varna's tutorial. Okay, last one. Oh no, that wasn't my last one. That's the last thing I worked on. So, plans. So this week's homework, I'm not happy with it. It's freedom. Dobby is free, so we are free. So we can stitch on anything we want, any theme, any piece, and as many stitches as we want. And for every 200 stitches that we put in, we'll get 1 point. So it can all be on one piece, it could be on lots of pieces, whatever we want. Here's what I don't like about this. As you may recall, I have this crazy compulsion to get a perfect score, which I've done until now. But if there's no ceiling to the number of points that can be earned this week, then how do I know when I reached a perfect score? Do you see what I'm saying? I know that's crazy, but like, it's actually stressing me out that there's not a stopping point. Like, there's not a goal. It's just stitch as much as you want. Well, during the week, I want to stitch like nothing. So, but I can't do that. I don't know. A lovely prefect in our Southern house. Oh, I'm a prefect too, by the way. Go me. And only in my 2nd year. We're all in our 2nd year, right? We were talking about like how this is making me crazy. It's actually stressing me out that there's not an end point. And how will I know that like I'm winning if I don't know what the goal is, you know? And it's not even really about competing against other people. Although I am competitive, obviously. But it's like more about competing against me. I set myself the goal that I want a perfect score. And so I'm just like trying to live up to that challenge of getting a perfect score. But now I don't know what is a perfect score. And I need to just remind myself that it's a competition against me. You know, I set the challenge. I'm gonna get a perfect score. So whatever I stitch, that is the perfect score. Like technically I could do 200 stitches, get 1 stitch. I participated, good enough, right? But like it's like creeping in now, like other people are gonna have higher points than me. It's not sitting well with me. But anyway, so this other prefect that I was talking to, she pointed out that that other people who at this point in time may pull ahead of me are gonna slip somewhere in the year, and so who knows where we're all gonna end up at the end. And she's right. And if I try to compete against everybody else, then I'm setting myself up for failure because I don't have the time to stitch that some of these people do. So I just need to decide for myself what is going to be a perfect score and stop there. So what I think I'm going to work on, I'm going to bring back Brave. I'm not sure, I'm not set on this. I might change my mind. But my reasoning is I have this all set up already to just be like mindless fill. Like eventually I have to put in like her eyes, but there's still like a lot of mindless fill here. I could get several points just from filling in the bear without even having to count or think or change colors or anything. So maybe, and maybe I'll just fill in until it's not mindless anymore. Like once I get down to the eyes and I have to start counting again, maybe I'll switch. I don't know. I'm probably not going to get that far. I really don't have that much time to stitch during the week. I work really long hours. Part of the reason I'm rushing so much now is because I'm on my lunch break. But I work really long hours. I've got other responsibilities. I sleep a lot. So I'm honestly lucky if I get 1 hour of stitching a day during the week. Most of the time I probably don't even get that much. So I just am not gonna be knocking this one out of the park. But I mean, I guess as long as I get one stitch, that could be a perfect score for me. I mean, I did the challenge. If there's no ending, then it ends as soon as you complete one, right? Let's go with that. It'll make me feel better. So we'll get new homework on Friday, and you'll find out next week what it is and what I'm doing. And I'm really excited because Friday starts March, which is year 3. So we're going to start the 3rd book, and the 3rd book is longer than the first 2, and all the subsequent books are longer. So for all future books, we get 2 months. So the 3rd book will last March and April, and I'm dying to see what they do with the extra credit, because so far the extra credit has all lasted for 1 month, and there's like 5 or 6 stitching extra credits and 5 or 6 reading extra credits, and you have the month. So are there going to be 5 in March and then they'll give us 5 more in April, or are they going to give us 5 and give us the whole 2 months to get them done? Because that would be amazing, especially because the homework has gotten like way harder than it was in January. So there's like less time to stitch extra credit. So, you know, we'll see. I'm excited. I have a feeling they're not going to go that easy on us. I bet they'll give us like March tasks and then April tasks. They might double it up and give us like 10 tasks to complete over March and April, but they can't really easily grade them until the month's over, and I don't think they want to save 2 months worth of extra credit to grade at the end, because that'll take them weeks. So maybe they'll do like the first half of the book will be March and the second half of the book will be April. Like the extra credits that relate to the first and second half of the book. I don't know, I'm so excited. So I'll keep you posted, and have a great week. Bye!